Biscuits. Sam Moinet is in the house.
Hey.
I've got Lola and Jenna here to learn more about coaching for tutors, and and we've got everything to gain in this session. Sam, you always deliver high value sessions to us, so I cannot wait to hear what you present right now. Our approach in qualified tutor, as you know, is to make sure that the best resources are available to develop tutors as professionals. And we really think that there's almost no difference between tutoring and coaching nowadays. And yet there are skills and disciplines involved in coaching that we really want to learn. Sam, last time you ran a session for us, you used that gorgeous phrase, a heart with ears. And we want to learn more about how to be that person for our tutors. We are committed to being the tutor that our students need, which means a different thing for every person. But the coaching ability, being able to hear our students and what they need, is always going to be at the heart of that. So we're here for you. We're here to learn from you. Good morning, Georgina. It's such a treat to see you here. And Sam, over to you. If I'm on mute, it's only because it's too noisy in my house, but I am with you. Let's go.
Wow, Julia, thank you so much for that warm welcome. And Lola, Jenna, Georgina, and anyone else watching this, welcome along to this session called How to Coach and Inspire as a Tutor Without Losing Your Spark. My name is Sam. I'm the founder of Student Breakthrough and the Educators Coaching Academy. I'm a speaker, a teacher, and a student coach. What we've got over the next 55 minutes is going to be some high energy, impactful coaching resources coming your way. So I present with lots of energy. So if you're feeling a little bit tired right now, that's going to change. All right. So be prepared. We're going to share a bit about what coaching is. We're actually going to hopefully
Sam, sorry, I'm
yeah,
going to set you a challenge. If you can get Lola and Jenna to take off their woolly hats by the end of this session, we'll
because
know
they'll
you
be
killed
so
it.
warmed up.
Yeah, that's it.
We got it. Okay, that's the challenge. All right, we got this. Um, yeah, we're going to do some coaching exercises. There might be a little breakout room for us, so I hope you guys will get involved in that. Appreciate you guys realize that, to really learn a skill, it's about practicing and getting involved in that. And then we're going to do a reflection tool that can help you right now, but also how you can help your students. So if you like good deals, which I do, hopefully you guys do, this is a 2-for-1. So Georgina, Lola, Jenna, Julia, anyone else watching, you're going to learn a little bit about, well, yourself, but also in doing that, how you can better support the young people, your students in your care. So that's what's on offer. I'm going to get started on this. And just before we kick off, I think it's important. I always share my agreements just at the start of an event. And this is just to make sure like we're all on the same page. I'll just whistle through these nice and quick. Um, so number one, participate fully. You guys have given up your time to be here, so get involved. If you can actually get involved in activities today, get involved in the breakouts, ask questions. You remember 80% of what's shared. Julie's excited. If you just sit there, you're going to remember 10%. So get involved. Next one, be present. Chuck your phone away. Delete all that tabs open. Get locked in for this next 55 minutes. Now, I love this one. I want you to listen for insights, not just information. All right. So I'm going to give you some information, but I want you to listen for how that lands for you. Yeah. What's the insight for you personally? And I want you to share those insights. You probably worked with a group of students before. You ask that one question, that one student answers, and then boom, straight away, other students are getting involved. So do share the insights, share the takeaways. And lastly, relax and have some fun. If you stay with me the whole session, I'm even going to give you a certificate of attendance, right, on how to coach in a very basic way. So you already got a little certificate here from our event. So if you're locked in on those, can you type a number 1 into the chat? Lola, Jenna, Julia, who else we got here? Helen, Georgina. We love a certificate, don't we? All right, we dropped them in.
You're in really good company today. You got some really good people in this
All
room.
right. Yeah. I don't have a woolly hat, otherwise I'd get it, and then we'd all be looking good. All right. Now the next thing I want you to do, if you haven't got a pen and paper, go and get one. And I'd love for you to just split a piece of paper in half. Okay, so fold that bit of paper in half. If you haven't got a bit of paper, we're drawing out a little chart, okay, a little table. All right. So if you've got an iPad or something you want to work with, you can use that.
Will we
You
need
good,
both
Jenna?
sides?
paper or scrap paper? Okay.
Yeah, scrap paper's fine. Doesn't really matter. Anything you can write on or write with. Tables and charts. Maths
So
heaven.
much free merch from last week, Sam.
Yeah, get those. Get the free merch. Get the free pens. Get some use out of them. So, team, on the left-hand side, unfortunately, we're not doing maths, which is great because it took me 4 times to pass my maths GCSE.
Did it really? That is a new piece of knowledge.
But I had the power of tutor that helped me. So there you go.
Oh, look at Helen.
Yeah.
Straight away to the positive.
Helen would have been straight in there with me. So left-hand side, I want you to write down the word awareness. Okay, left-hand side, write the word awareness. The top right-hand side, I want you to write the word action. Okay, awareness top, left, action top, right. If you want to write today's date and underline it, you can do that. My teacher hat on, you don't have to.
I am so much better at the awareness side than the action side, Sam. Even writing the word action makes me feel a little bit nervous.
Yeah, and that's because a lot of us are really great at thinking and saying stuff, but the doing falls down. Yes, Jenna?
Sorry, I have ADHD and stuff, and I am also in whiplash at the moment because I'm freaking out about some other stuff that could you I don't understand what we're writing.
Yeah, sure.
Wait,
It's a great question. So I'm moving pretty fast here. So what we're doing throughout the event, you're going to be listening to some things I talk about, and on the table that you've drawn, so awareness on one side and action on the other, I just want you to write down anything you find out on the left-hand side. Okay, so we're splitting a bit of paper into two.
Fold it in 4, is that right?
You can fold it in 4, you can fold, as long as it's in half, that's what we're doing.
Oh, right. So,
All
and
right,
then yes, and what was on the other side?
And then left-hand side is awareness, right-hand side is action.
Thank you. Sorry,
No, it's my fault. Yeah,
Okay,
no apologies
you know
there. I've been flying through this. So, as Jenna actually asked a great question there, anything that you hear that is an insight right on the left-hand side, something you're like, oh, that's cool, I found that out. And Jenna and everyone, when you hear an action step, something you can go away and do, write it on the right-hand side.
Oh God, where's my?
All right. Now, the reason we
Is
do
it
this.
okay if I disagree with Philip McGraw?
Yeah, if you want, yeah.
Okay, just checking.
We're
a bit Larry today, aren't we, Sam?
We are a bit there, yeah. Let me if you can mute Jenna for me, just 'cause we've got a bit of background on there, Julia, that'd be great. Your sound is mad. Yeah.
Come on, help Sam out a bit. I'll do my best to behave myself.
All right. So yeah, team, reason why I'm doing this because a lot of events you've listened to, you've gone to, nothing ever happens. And I don't want this to be that event. Okay. So the awareness precedes change. And by the end of the day, we're going to have some action steps you can go away and work on with the tutees and with the people that you really want to support. So let's just lock in to this moment. Jenna, this isn't hopefully going to overwhelm. It's just a little check-in with how you're feeling at the moment. There's some words to use here to give you some inspiration. But team, I'd love you to write down for me mind, body, and heart. And if you want to unmute, you can talk about this, but just checking in right now at 11:13. How are you feeling in your mind? How are you feeling in your body? And how are you feeling in your heart? Lola.
Sorry, Sam. Are we writing this, the mind, body, and heart? Are we writing on another page or on the same page where you want us to write the awareness and the action?
Yeah, great point. You could write it on the awareness. You could write it on a second different piece of paper. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But yeah, just checking in. So how's your mind right now? How's your body? And how's your heart? So my mind right now, I'd say, is energetic. My body is pretty tired. And my heart is feeling very loving. And Georgina, you can use this with your tutees. It's a great way to start the session. And another thing we can talk about here, team, is that the word parts, and I'll put it into the chat here, the word part, too many words. It's just inspiration, Helen. You don't have to use the words.
We're learning some new words along the way as well. I think this is a really lovely tool. Danielle's just come up with apathetic for mind.
Nice.
I just commented.
And what we're saying here is that sometimes you describe yourself as the whole being, like, I am tired, I am stressed, I'm confused. But actually, if you can break it down that your mind might feel that way, but your heart might feel something different. Your body might feel something different to your mind. And it just helps us to ground ourselves and realize actually it helps with a bit of overwhelm as well, that sometimes just a part of us that feels that way. Like my body feels tired, but my mind is switched on. My heart feels really upbeat. So, Julia, what about you? What's your mind, body, and heart?
Can you come back to me in just a second? Because I was focused on Danielle.
Yeah, sure, go for it. Lola, have you got a check-in for us? How are you feeling today?
My heart is beating fast because
Nice.
this is new to me. My body is agile and my mind, just like yours, is energetic.
Awesome. Good stuff, Lola. Thanks for checking in. Jenna, do you mind checking in with us? I know your mic's a little bit fluffy, but we can still hear
Sorry,
you.
I was actually trying to fix my mic. Is
Oh,
this
it's fixed now. It sounds amazing.
Yay!
Yeah,
Oh
yes.
God. So I took my whole PC with me to vet last week, and it has taken 3 restarts this morning because everything is going wrong today. I'm really sorry. What was the question?
Well, Jenna, just check in with me. How are you feeling right now in your mind? How's your mind feeling right now?
Pure chaos and overwhelm, and I am quite worried about my student.
How's your body feeling?
I'm in a lot of pain.
Okay, and how's your heart feeling?
Far too fast. I'm probably gonna have to take my meds.
Okay,
And the
thanks
dog
for
is currently
sharing.
jumping on me. It's that bad. So I have a medical dog, just so you know.
Oh, amazing.
That's what that is.
What's his name or her name?
Her name's Kenzie.
Kenzie, great name. Great name. Who else we haven't heard from? Thanks, Jenna. We haven't heard from Georgina. Go for it. How are you feeling today?
Good. I think my mind is feeling pretty content. Body a bit wonky. I'm not sure if that's on this wheel, but it's a bit wonky today. And my heart is quite peaceful.
Thanks for sharing, Georgina. And Helen, what about yourself?
I'm going to be uncreative. I am tired, tired, and tired for all
Thanks,
three, I think.
thanks for your honesty there.
And Sam, I did find an answer for you.
Go for it.
Mind is interested,
Yeah.
my body feels vulnerable, and my heart feels thankful.
Awesome.
Which is
Thanks for
okay
sharing.
for a Tuesday.
It's good for a Tuesday. Thank you, team. Really appreciate that. So you can use that with your students, just a little check-in, because sometimes it's like easy to just say, yeah, I'm tired, or as Helen said, she is tired. But it's better sometimes to find some different words to describe these different things. Okay. We'll skip on that just because for time's sake. So I'm just going to stop sharing screen here and just chat to everyone a little bit. So thank you so much for being here, team. Like I said, my name's Sam, founder of 2 companies, Student Breakthrough and the Educators Coaching Academy. I'm going to share with you my story in a brief little way. Julie's heard this before, and some of you might have heard it, but just to set the scene on who I am, because where I am right now and what I'm doing it wasn't always like that for me. And I want to take you back to when I was 10 years old. So can you think back, Lola, Georgina, Helen, Jenna, when you were 10? Like, where were you? What were you doing? For me at 10, I was very anxious. I was very shy, and I'm the oldest of 3 boys. Riding a dinosaur in school. Yeah, that's a cool one. Oldest of 3 boys, and I decided to do something when I was young to make my dad proud of me. Now, my dad's an inspiration, and he's a soldier, and he fought in the Falklands War in the 1980s. And I'm his oldest son, and I was looking up to my dad, and I took on this belief. If you want to write the word belief down, if you write down the word belief, if I can spell it, there you go. Now, Lola, if you write this down on the awareness part, and if you actually look at the word belief, in the middle of the word belief is the word lie. All right. So I took on this belief, which is basically a lie from a young age, that I had to make my dad proud. And I do that by joining the British Army. So that was my dream. So I want you to imagine your childhood dream. Julia's was riding a dinosaur. Whatever it was for you at 10, what was your dream? Because
Sam,
guess what?
you know I was going to be a rock star. It
You were
was
going to be a rock star.
Madonna.
A rock star shooter. We'll give you that one. And I achieved my dream. In 2012, I got a letter through the post that changed my life. And it said, Sam, We'd love to have you in the Royal Anglian Regiment of the British Army and welcome you to the armed forces. And I run over to my dad. I was 21 years old. And I give my dad the biggest hug. And in that moment, I finally feel like this. My dad, who's this tough, strong guy, was proud of me, right? As guys, especially, we want to make sure, I think we want to make our dads proud. And I made my dad proud in that moment. Yeah, Helen, I didn't want to be a teacher either, because what happened, can you imagine a time when life was really upsetting? Just for a moment, just think back to a time when you were really upset. Because during this time, I was going through some challenges with my health. And unfortunately, I got a diagnosis with this crazy disease that I'd never heard of before. And it was called Crohn's disease. And a few weeks after I got the letter accepting myself getting the acceptance into the army, another letter came through the post. And this one changed my life. And I always remember the words. It was, Sam, unfortunately, that word, unfortunately, you are not accepted into the Royal Anglian Regiment due to your diagnosis. And these two words were in bold, Crohn's disease. And I fell into a ball on the floor. I smashed my coffee cup against the wall, hugged my knees into my chest. And I cried. And I don't think I didn't stop crying for about 3 days. And sometimes in life, you don't realize that failure or the setback is a blessing. But I didn't see it as a blessing at the time. Now, Helen, I also became a teacher. I became a history teacher because my mum was a primary school teacher. And I said, well, I can't just work in M&S coffee shop serving tea cakes to old ladies, which, they enjoyed the tea cakes, they enjoyed my coffee. And I thought, well, begrudgingly, I'll become a teacher. Let's get some skills. Now, I took all of this. It was pretty cool, Georgie. I took all of my pain from my Crohn's, failing the army or whatever, into my teaching role. And when you're teaching 150 students a day, that anxiety that I was feeling was just bubbling up. And it was rising a bit like a volcano before it erupts. It was just bubbling along all this lava. But eventually got to the point where I couldn't get into school. And I'm like, I physically was pinned down. I'm a strong guy, and I was physically like being pinned down by this anxiety, this mental health stuff. And I made it into school. And it was a day that really did change things for me, but it was a tough day. And I put on the big, brave smile. You guys do as tutors, I'm sure. Helen's feeling knackered. She's so tired, but she's got to like go and teach and tutor, and she's got this big smile. And I was doing the big smile, and a girl in the front of the class, her name was Susie. Always remember this, right? 2015, she looked me dead in the eyes. She said, "Sir, are you okay?" Inside, I wanted to say, you know what, Susie? No, I'm anxious. I feel worthless. I feel like a failure. I can't do this. But I did the classic British response. I'm fine. And an acronym for fine you can write down in your notes is feelings inside, not expressed. All right, feelings inside, not expressed. And in that moment, I started to have tears well up into my eyes, and they started to roll down my face. And this breakdown in front of 30, 16-year-olds was the trough. It was the moment when I was 24 being like, I'm not okay. And I can't do my job. Now, luckily, I met someone that changed my life. And I want you to think back to your life. Who is that individual? Could be Julia or Adele. I don't know if they've changed your life, but maybe they have. Who is that individual that really helped you along the way? Jenna's could even be your therapy doc. Like that could be something that's helped you in your journey, whatever it is. Now, I met someone in 2015. 23rd, Julie, definitely. Yeah, nice one. The 23rd of April, 2015, who was a coach. Now, I had no idea what coaching was. I'm big into sports. I thought this was a coach for football, for cricket, for rugby. Little did I know this was a coach for my mindset and how I felt inside. And I always remember this one thing that I learned was to express and not suppress. Express, not suppress what was going on for me. And I finished this call, and I kid you not, like it was like getting off the plane on holiday. This is the best way I can describe it. After this coaching session, when you get off the plane on holiday and everything is like colorful and hot and vibrant again, and that's what I felt. And I went back into school the next day, and just became a much better teacher because I dealt with some of my things. I'd shared what was going on for me. I'd talked about it. And then over a few more years, I started to see students that were struggling with anxiety, not feeling good enough. And I got very frustrated with the system. And I thought, well, I can change things from the outside in. Now, I didn't become a tutor. I became a coach for students, but the skills are similar in some ways. In those early days, I was coaching students one-on-one, just in coffee shops in Milton Keynes, where I'm from. So I was working with students one-on-one. I was calling myself an academic life coach, although I wasn't really doing any academics. I was just helping the students with their anxiety and confidence. This is a student called Jamie, amazing young guy. I started working with younger students. These are primary school kids. And then I started training students in coaching and working with like sixth formers. And I was doing big student talks. And I was doing all this stuff. And I was testing, running big events. And then the pandemic hit. And the last part of my story comes out of the pandemic, where a school in North London said, Sam, can you train our teachers in your coaching program? Now, great advice from Richard Branson. The best thing he's ever said, I think, is say yes and make it up later. School calls me up, can you train our staff? I'm like, yeah, I can train your staff. I put together this very rough and ready training program. I go into the school in St Albans, start training the teachers. All I care about is helping Julia, Georgina, Helen, the teachers, in this case, learn how to better support the kids through coaching. What I found out, and I said this at the start, this 2-for-1 thing, I found out very early on that this was actually helping the teachers, probably even more than it was helping the kids. And that led on to the Educators Coaching Academy. I've been featured in this huge, massive newspaper called the Northampton Chronicle. Not that big. Spoken a bit about BBC News on teacher burnout and retention. I've grown a little team. This is my team here in Portugal, where I live. We were working with a school, and this is with a school in Germany. Look at these teachers, they're so amazing. And I love working with teachers. I've got schools in Dubai, in Germany, in Portugal, in the UK. And what we're really doing here at the Educators Coaching Academy is bringing people together to make them feel good about themselves, to reignite their passion for education and to inspire change from the outside in. But it all started with failure. And last thing I'll mention before we get into an exercise is you cannot transform the world alone. This is why qualified tutor is so great. This is why any educational community is so great, because on our own, we are an island, but that person begins by moving a mountain by carrying away small stones. So the fact that 4 of us, 5 of us are here today, you're going to have a little stone, a little pebble to take back to your tutoring that's going to create a little ripple effect. And I love as a tutor and as a teacher, you never know what your words, your actions, how they land for that student. It can be transformational. So thank you so much for being here. And the last thing before we start is this, that it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken adults. And if you are anyone that works with students, this should pump you up. And as tutors, you've got such an amazing role to play, like this one-to-one support, this real connection that you have with your tutees, even in small groups. Like, this is why coaching is so great for tutors, I think, and vice versa, because you're already in the setting of working with a student one-to-one. If you can add a few more tools into that, learn how to become a qualified coach potentially, you can just elevate everything. You can elevate your business, you can elevate the work that you do with students, because let's be honest, right? It's not just about the academics. And yeah, you help the students with academics, but really when you build that relationship with the student, you're there for them in a different way. Like that pastoral support, that emotional support they don't get from home, from school. So thank you for being here. I'm going to do some coaching stuff now. All right.
That was lovely, Sam. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you all for listening. Okay, now we're going to do some stuff. We are going to do a little breakout room, so be prepared. But it's going to be nice and easy and straightforward. Now, just for coaching's sake, I'll just go over it really, really briefly. Why it works. If you think about a line of therapy, I'm just going to actually stop sharing here so you can see me. If you think about a line, so you've got like therapy down here and like consulting here. So therapy is asking questions really about the past. Consulting is giving information, not really asking questions. Coaching is in the middle. And coaching is like a gateway, emotional support. Man, why did I get emotional when I said that? I think I get emotional when I say coaching is the gateway, is because it's a nice, safe way for people to start to express themselves in the present moment. And it's the thing, right? You meet the person where they are in the moment. It's not saying, Julia, tell me what happened in your childhood trauma when you were 2 years old. That's therapy. It's not saying, hey, let's help you with this past pain, which is counseling. It's right in the moment. It's actionable, it's future orientated, it's present, it's positive. And for people that have never expressed themselves in this way, teachers, students, many teachers typically have never done anything like this. It's the first time they've done it, and it can be really transformational. Now, believe it or believe it not, once I was very, very overweight. And I used to eat so much pick and mix in Chinese food. I think at university I was eating like Boost bars a day and like I was drinking Ribena, but like my Ribena portions were like this and this. Anyway, I put on loads of weight. And when I started to lose weight, all I was doing was doing like 10,000 steps, drinking 2 liters of water, and eating my 5 a day. Now, when you're in that weight loss, you can lose weight really fast because it's the first time you've done it. And same for teachers or students who have never done any coaching, counseling, or therapy. They do a bit of coaching and they make rapid progress. It's like, whoa, like this is what I'm about. So what we're going to learn now, don't answer me. What we're going to learn now, thank you, Helen, is some basic coaching skills. And we're going to just start with listening, and then we'll do a little exercise for you to help your tutees. So team, I invite you, by the way, these are all invitations to draw out the triangle. If you want to draw it out, I suggest, I invite. At the bottom of the triangle, we've got listening. Top left, we've got questions. And on the right, we've got silence. Now, just some notes on listening. We're going to practice this in our little breakouts. Most of us think we can listen really well. You know what we can all do really well? We can hear. Everyone can hear really well. Most people can't listen very well because hearing is physiological. A bit like me walking or moving my body, that's physiological. So is hearing. A lot of the time we don't notice the sounds that are coming into our awareness, they just happen. But listening is a psychological act. Real listening is removing your agenda and zoning in on that person in front of you as if they are the most important person in the world. Julia mentioned at the start, one of my favorite phrases is being a heart with ears. Imagine the heart, the love you have for yourself, your close friends, your family, and you put that onto your ears and you're listening to understand, not to reply. And even looking at their body movements, their key words, how they're breathing, that's the level we're bringing to it. And when you can do that, you make people feel heard, respected, and understood. So we're going to practice this. And we're going to play a little game. And the game is called, What is You at Your Best? Now, Julia's going to demo this with me. So what the game is, here's the question. Here's my heart with ears, by the way. So I'm going to ask Julia in a second, what's her at her best? Now, Julia I love this question because she can answer this in any way possible, right? She could say like, well, she's the best at eating cake. She could say she's the best when she's obviously writing a book, when she's doing whatever. Like you can answer this in any way, but I want Julia to talk for like 30 seconds to a minute. Once she's finished, I'm going to repeat back in as much detail what Julia said. And that's the game. Okay. So Julia, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Born ready.
Oh, I love it. What a lovely question.
So I want to bring you up because I'm on pin here. What's you at your best, Julia? Let's do this.
Okay. So my absolute best is cuddling my kids, just being there for them, sitting on the sofa, chatting with them, laughing with them, reading books, dog on the lap, just a really comfortable, pleasant moment of alignment and shared understanding, appreciation.
So Julie's at her best when she's cuddling her kids, when she's reading them a book, when she's got the dog on her lap, when there's just this level of kindness and appreciation. And you were smiling throughout when you were talking about it. She's still smiling now. And it was really great to hear. So thank you for sharing.
Thanks for asking.
That's the game. And then what's going to happen? Julie's going to ask me that question. I'm going to share. She's going to repeat back. And then we're going to have a little debrief on what it was like to be listened to. And if I want you to imagine, if you just improved your listening by 5%, what would happen? That's all.
Are you sure you want to go into breakouts?
We don't have to do breakouts.
I
Why?
really want to hear everyone's answer.
Okay, let's go. If you want to do that. Should we play? Maybe it's a bit tough on to maybe show that in front. We can just share this in front of the group though, and everyone can listen. Okay, so when somebody's sharing, we won't do a repeat back in front of the group, but I want you to imagine if you were. So I want you to really zone in on this person. We'll put the view and speaker view.
Yeah.
All right? You can just share. And by the way, if you just want to share like a few words, that's okay as well, right? There's no pressure here. Julie's put us all on the spot, which is fine. Feelings inside, not expressed. No, I'm joking. I will go next then. So I can share. Put on speaker. Wow. So I'm at my best actually when I stop and slow down. When I actually have time for myself that's guilt-free, where I don't feel the need to be on my phone or be on a screen or sending emails or being actually a professional. It's actually at my best where I'm in the ocean, I'm surfing, I'm walking next to the beach, and I'm just being in the present moment in nature. That's me at my best. So hopefully you listened in breakthrough listening, as we're talking about here. We'll go to Georgina. What's you at your best?
I feel like I may have been inspired by your pupil, but yeah, I think I'm at my best when I have been taking the time to look after all of myself. So I've nourished my body, but in a way that doesn't make it feel awkward. And I've taken care of my sleep and I've moved sufficiently to use all of my limbs. And usually when there's a person directly in front of me for me to interact with, because so much of my social time is in front of a screen. So yeah, spending time with someone that I love and laughing, much like we did at Bet when I hurt my face. I've just set them all off again. Exactly that, yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Georgina. Jenna, what's you at your best?
I think that it's something that I'm still trying to find, but I think I feel like I'm at my best when I have people around me that I don't have to hide around or like mask, and that feel like family that will call me out on my shit but also support me. I think the thought that keeps coming to my mind is last week's dinner with the nibbles and everything. Because that was brilliant. But I also think that because I feel powerful and like I can deal with challenges and stuff, and like I think that I also need to be doing enough. I need to be being busy and actually also having enough time to just stare at a tree and hug a tree and stuff, but actually having achievable things to get on with, like loads. I thrive in chaos and with being busy. I don't take time off because I can't stand not being busy. But I felt really good last week that even though everything that happened to start off the week was absolutely awful and that I am going to be attempting to deal with this afternoon, lawyers and police today, it's fun, but I felt like I could take it on. And even just chatting to Georgina earlier about what, like, that little reminders from someone, like people that I trust like that, I think is very important, and it's easier to hear, if that makes sense.
Great share. So many insights there. By the way, if you listen to an insight from someone, you could write that down in your awareness part of your sheet as well. Helen, over to you. Thanks, Jenna.
I am at my best when I am being poured into more than I am having to pour out. And that can be me pouring into me with the self-care and the time and the exercise and not eating too many donuts, and that sort of thing. But it can also be spending the time with my family when they're not driving me up the wall, or spending time with the friends. Yeah, so there's a lot I'm having to pour out at the moment. So having equal or greater being poured in is when I'm at my best.
Thanks, Helen. I can totally relate to that. Thank you so much. Coco, good to see you, by the way. Snuck in here a bit late.
So sorry. Yeah, bit of a disaster this morning, but
No worries. What are you at your best?
through. I was really thinking about, I know previous people have talked about, feelings. So feeling powerful, feeling present. I really latched onto that. I feel I'm at my best when I have real intention and focus, and I know I've recognized what's important in that moment, in that day, and I'm just able to get on with that thing, whatever that is, in a very calm, focused way, and not feeling reactive and rushing from one thing to another and having that kind of stressed feeling. So yeah, focus and intention, and calmness.
Love that, Coco. Great reflection. Thanks for sharing. And Lola, you're last up for us.
Thanks, Sam. I think I'm at my best when I'm in the kitchen cooking and I'm dropping in some few bits that will make the meal delicious. And also, I'm at my best when those around me understand my feeling as well as my opinion, and when I'm not judged at or when I'm not criticized. And I think that's it.
Thank you so much for some lovely shares there and so much inspiration from everyone. And actually, just even everyone sharing there, I don't know about you, but I feel like 5% at least more connected to you. I properly listened to everyone there, and it was nice for me to share as well. And this is the great thing about the training and learning how to coach, is that you have that chance to express yourself in a really proactive way. You meet people and you just get this connection, and it's like the community you've built here, like Julia, qualified tutor. It's great psychological safety. Now, I'd love for us all to grab our pens and to go on to, well, firstly, the first thing I'd love for you to write down on the awareness piece. So that awareness, this Coco, if you weren't here, we just did 2 tables, awareness and action, 2 columns. The awareness, what did you find out about listening? You could write maybe stuff down like heart with ears, listening is psychological act, listening to understand, not to reply, this kind of stuff. And a bit like going to the gym, you got to practice this. So on the right-hand side for the action, the invitation here, team, is to write down the initials of someone that you can practice your listening skills with, really listening to that person. Now, it could be a partner, it could be your children, it could even be a tutee. And I want you to just really practice that with that one person and get locked in that moment. Julie's left us for now. Okay, so that's the invitation that I'd love for you to practice with. Jenna.
Sorry, could you say that bit again? I got a little bit lost. Sorry, I got distracted by Julia's comment.
No worries. So what the action part, Jenna?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that listening skill we just did, the breakthrough listening with all your intention. I want you to write down the initials of someone. Who is someone in your life that you could practice that with?
Like literally sit down and do the thing, what is you at your best question with?
No, not necessarily that. Just when someone is sharing, they might come to you with they might just be chatting about their day. Just get zoned in, remove your own agenda and get locked in on what they're talking, bring all your awareness to that moment.
Okay.
Okay. So
sorry,
it could be
I know I'm pure chaos.
No, you're good. It's actually great to qualify. like go over this stuff to make sure everyone's. I love the fact that you answer questions as well. Lola, can you give me 1 second? Oh no, come back, Lola. Just 1 second. Just want to share this one thing before we do another exercise. So I just wanted to share this one thing before Lola shoots off, and we're going to do one more coaching exercise. Oh, sorry about this. Cool. So next steps, if you are actually interested in learning how to coach, by the way, and becoming a qualified coach, we've worked with, I think, 3 people now from Qualified Tutor, training them in coaching so they can then better support their tutees, maybe charge more for their services, maybe add additional services. We have our Elite Diploma, which kicks off this Thursday. This might look a bit overwhelming, but there's 13 live calls and you've got 5 one-to-ones with a trainer. And at the end, you get your ICF accreditation in coaching. So if you would like to join or interested in this, I'll put my email into the chat and you can reach out. Also, you get 10% off as a QT member. We keep our prices really competitive anyway because we work with tutors and teachers. This ICF level 1 course usually goes for about £3,000 to £4,000. We sell it at 2,000, so you're getting it for a steal at 1,800. If you want to get your coaching qualification, kick off 2025 and finish up by June, ready for September to start coaching kids, adding more skills to your portfolio. We also help you with business and how to bring your coaching business out to the full. Then you could be interested in that. So Lola, thanks for sticking by the way. Appreciate it. All right, we're gonna do one more thing.
I can't resist from diving in to tell you that the 3 people I know who have done your course would consider it life-changing.
I appreciate that. And it has, and it's been so great to work with them. Like I said, you've got the golden spaces tutors because you're already there one-to-one. And ultimately, yeah, it's great for academics, but if you're offering this like emotional support, self-regulation, resilience, like, man. And also, by the way, you get to level and grow up a lot as well. When I say grow up, not physically, but like personal development for you as well. You get coached every single week if you'd like it. Coco, who's done it?
I'll
Sorry.
send you the details. We can send her the details.
Yeah. If you know Dee Adkins, she's done it. Daisy, always get her name wrong, hopped off. She's got a great surname. And I think one other person, but Daisy and Dee, if you want to check them out, Coco.
The other one's Philippa.
Oh,
And
Philippa, goodbye.
Yeah.
And
Oh man, these are great people. Philippa's like doing coaching now in her school. She's awesome.
Yes.
I like, yeah, so check them out. But we've got a couple of spaces on Thursday. If you want to jump on this course, like I said, we've got a payment plan option as well. If you want to, if the 1,800 is a bit too much, we can split it up over the 5 months, whatever suits you best. How are we doing for time?
You're doing
Okay.
great.
Yeah, we've got time. Okay. All right, what we'll do one last little exercise. I was going to tell you a story. We're going to skip the story, but we'll do the exercise. So bear with me. And this does require another piece of paper. If you want to grab a piece of paper, because we're going to look at this. Our iceberg. So I was looking at what to do with you, and I think with the time we can do this. So we're going to draw out an iceberg in a little bit. But I love this tool because a lot of the time we can only see the surface level behavior of what's going on with the person. Could be a tutee, anyone in your life. I mean, we're all icebergs, right? Like right now you're looking at me, Sam, surface level behavior, but actually like what's going on for me, like there's loads of challenges underneath the surface that you don't see. When we are a heart with ears, we can actually help and look beneath the surface with someone. And I love this statement here that beneath every behavior, there is a feeling that's not being met. And beneath the feeling, there is a need. And if we can deal with the need and not the behavior, then we're dealing with the cause and not the symptom. So what we're looking at here is what's really going on beneath the surface when it comes to our challenges. And you can use this in different ways. I use this myself when I'm feeling really anxious. And I might write down underneath the iceberg, what's going on here? Financial stress, could be injury, because I've injured my shoulder recently. It could be anything, like I'm out of routine. By the way, I'm just giving suggestions here. Pressure from social media, whatever it is. And then we can start to think, well, gives us clarity, because here's the thing, right? Awareness precedes change. And a lot of the time we'll just go through, I know I will sometimes just be like, I'm anxious, again, describing my whole self without pausing what's going on. Because once I had the awareness, then I can act. So let's do this, team. Draw out an iceberg into your notes. And again, this is 2 for 1 because you can use this for your tutees. If they come to a session and they're just feeling stressed or anxious or overwhelmed, you're like, right, let's just look at this. It takes 5 minutes. It's a bit creative. It's a great metaphor. So I'd love you to write, what's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? And you can do this. I'd like you to bring some honesty to this. You don't, if you want to do it small or a big challenge, it's up to you. I did this recently because my insomnia came back. I had really bad insomnia as a teacher. I missed that out of my story, and I was really struggling with my sleep again. So I used this iceberg to do that. So I wrote down tired, knackered, can't sleep. Write down your challenge. And we're just going to think a little bit about, and I want you to write these things down in this part of the iceberg. So what are you telling yourself that's contributing to the challenge? All right. So what language are you using to describe the challenge? I just want you to write down a couple of words or a thought. So for me, if it was sleep, I might be telling myself that I'm a really bad sleeper. I can't do this. I'm always going to be tired, blah, blah, blah. So what are you telling yourself right now? And you don't have to do all these questions, by the way, just choose a couple that land. If you want to keep writing while I share, you can do that as well. What have you been running away from? What have you been avoiding? Like for me, it was like actually avoiding reflecting on my sleep. And I ended up taking loads of sleeping pills again. Last week, I was like a zombie because you get this sleeping pill hangover. I've been avoiding like getting off those sleeping pills. So what have you been avoiding? And the last one, I shared at the start the word belief. In the middle of the word belief is the word lie. A belief is basically just loads of assumptions. So what assumptions are you making about yourself or the situation? So for me, assumption could be that I can't sleep. If I don't sleep, I can't perform. I will never be able to rest. My bedroom is a battleground. And one thing I want you to just take from this as well is that the language you use to describe something creates the reality. What you put out is what you get back. And I share with honesty, by the way, because I've all got my challenges. There's nothing worse than a speaker that comes on and like thinks they're like some reincarnated Buddha or something like.
Yeah.
No one wants a reincarnated Buddha unless they actually are the reincarnated Buddha, and then you've reached enlightenment, so you win. Anyway, now what we're gonna do is a little reframe. Okay, so again, we make 35,000 choices a day. 35,000. That's what the research says. Obviously, most of these are subconscious. And now we're going to think, well, if I looked at this in a different way, what would happen? So I want you to just choose a different perspective here. What's a different way of looking at this challenge? And you can actually ask yourself here, is the challenge 100% true? Like if I'm saying like, I will never be able to sleep properly, is that 100% true? What's a different way of looking at this? Cool, but obviously there's something going on because our body is the greatest lie detector. So just by the way, this is one of the greatest words in coaching is imagination. Right? We're just imagining what could be different here. So what's a different way of looking at this? Next question. Oh, jump the gun here. Look at the middle one. What's an example of when you've overcome a similar challenge? And one of my favorite ones from Steve Jobs is you can't connect the dots looking forward. I've actually got something similar to this tattooed on my arm. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust in something. Your gut, destiny, life, karma, the dots will eventually connect further down the road. And what this quote means is that the future is uncertain, right? The only uncertainty is pain, uncertainty, and the need for constant growth. But the future is uncertain. However, if you can look back on your life, for me, the the last 34 years, and look at the challenges I've overcome and all the miracles that have happened for me to still be here, still like showing up, serving, dedicating my life to students like you guys do and our families. You realize that even though the future's uncertain, I've overcome all this stuff. So therefore, I've got certainty in the fact that I can overcome anything in the future. So what's an example of when you overcome a similar challenge? My last question is the action question. What's one action step you can take to move forward? So when I was doing this, I was like, well, I'm taking these sleeping pills are making me feel super fatigued. Maybe I should stop taking them. And that's what I did. And lo and behold, I now didn't wake up feeling like a zombie. I've got loads more energy, which is great. Sleeping pills are, they are useful in their own ways just to break the cycle, but man, those things are a little bit addictive. So you can look at your iceberg now and think, well, I've had the awareness now. Again, awareness precedes change. If you're just up here on the surface level, you haven't got the awareness to then think about what I want to change or see different. So you can use this for your tutees. You can use this for yourself. It's a great way of building empathy with people. You can write someone's behavior up here, someone you're clashing with, maybe. What's really going on for that person? Oh man, maybe they've got all this stuff going on, blah, blah. Okay, we've got 5 minutes left. So what I want you to do is just to grab your pen, go back to the awareness and action sheet and just reflect for me what's something you found out in that little bit, what's something you learned, and then the action. And the action could actually be to use that with a student. You could use it with yourselves when you're feeling stressed. Keep it simple. And then we've got one more thing to do, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Okay, so the last thing, we're just going to set a commitment with the group. So this is an action step. Don't worry about this too much. The most important thing when you share your action step with the group, how can you make it specific and measurable? Okay. So an example of a bad action step, or maybe not an effective action step, is, thanks, Sam, that was great. I'm going to be a better listener. Right? Bit average. Because how do you know if you've actually achieved it? Now, a better step there would be like, I'm going to improve my listening by practicing the listening skills with Julia 3 times a day. So Julia, sorry, I'm going to call you 3 times. You're not going to do that. But you know what I'm on about here. So we can make it
answer
specific.
every time, Sam, don't worry.
So everyone's going to share an action step with the group, looking at your list on the right-hand side of all the stuff you've done today. Yeah, please, everyone, ring Julia 3 times a day. She would love me for that.
Do.
Yeah, I guess it's more better than smart. I mean, the most important thing, Jenna, with this is putting data, numbers, or stats on the action. Not just like, I'm going to improve my fitness. It's like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week and I'm going to put my gym shoes out the night before, or whatever it is.
Helen,
Okay.
can you put it in the chat for us, please? Because Sam stopped sharing.
I can just share it again.
Oh, I like to keep Helen busy, Sam.
So this is how I use it with students when I set action with them. So the action step is quite vague. It could be like fitness. What makes it important? I want to improve my physical health. How can you improve it this week? And then you go over like 10,000 steps, 2 liters of water, 5 fruit and veg, booking your PT session, booking the run with a friend, going to park run, whatever it is. That's the thing where people fall down on. And I do as well sometimes. The fastest way to happiness, right? The fastest way to confidence is to think, say, and do everything in alignment. So when you think something, you say it, and then you follow through. But let's be honest, right? How many times have you thought and said something, and then you go and doom scroll Instagram, binge Netflix, and then nothing gets done, right? And you're out of alignment, yeah? So what we're doing here with the action is, can you think, say, and do, and stick to your word, and build that like personal kingdom, like the king or queen that's on your throne? Can you build that? Can you build that by sticking to your word time and time and time again? So with the group, we're going to hold you all accountable and we want to know your action step. So let's talk with some people. We'll go to Helen first. Helen, what's your action going to be?
I'm going to give myself time each day to play the piano.
Sweet. How much time?
Oh, that's going to depend on how loudly my children shout in my ear. I'll go for 5-10 minutes, but aim for more if I can.
Awesome, great stuff. We'll go Georgina. Thanks, Helen.
Well, this is a bit sad, but I realised that every weekend when I go see my family, I do that as my relaxation time, which means that I'm actually not listening to what they're saying to me, which is not very nice. So I'm gonna, when I visit this weekend, really focus on hearing them tell me how they are and what's happening in their life.
Awesome, great stuff. Great insight, by the way. See what I mean? That's the insight there. It's like, oh, I'm using my time to relax my family, but maybe I should give more time to me. Great stuff. Coco, what you got?
I really need to focus on sort of creative ways or kind of directions that I can take my business, and I've just been scared to engage with that. But I think something actionable would be like 30 minutes every other day, so it's not so overwhelming and scary that I don't do it. So maybe like 30 minutes on Tuesday, 30 minutes on Thursday, and then if that goes well, it could be 30 minutes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and yeah, to kind of embrace the excitement of sort of what I could learn or new things that can be found out rather than being scared of them.
Awesome, great share. And this is the best thing about coaching as well. It's small steps, right? Like it's just a small step. And if you just do that one thing, the knock-on effect in all other areas of your life will be, well, significant. Thanks, Coco. I think we've got Jenna. What you got for us, Jenna, as your action?
I don't know. I'm feeling quite overwhelmed, to be honest.
All good.
I'm wondering if maybe that's potentially where I start, is to figure out how to be less overwhelmed. Maybe I phone a friend this afternoon.
Yeah, no, that's it. There's the action. There's the action. The other one you could do, Jenna, is just spend some time after this, maybe going on a walk and just even doing the iceberg there, like overwhelmed.
I am actually dressed because I was supposed to go for a lesson. So actually taking the dog for a walk. I haven't done a walk by myself with the dog since pre-COVID because of my health issues. But actually now it's just anxiety as a barrier. So maybe I will do that, even if it's just in the garden. I like that one.
Great stuff.
I'll take a photo and put it in the WhatsApp.
There you go. Action. Well, action creates. So I used to think when I started learning to coach, it was if you imagine your thoughts, this is what they said, your thoughts lead to your feelings lead to your actions lead to your results. And actually, I think that's in quite a lot of ways incorrect. I think it starts with action. Your action creates your feelings create your thoughts, and your thoughts create your results. So Jenna, basically the summary there is, yeah, go and do something to generate that feeling, that emotion.
Inaction feeds apathy.
There you go. Thank you so much. Julia, last one.
I'm being brave here. But when Jenna said, I'm going to start with the overwhelm, that I found that really helpful because I'm going to try to journal. Because I have so many things above my iceberg, building works and planning a bar mitzvah and QT and all the other things that I don't even know what's what and where's where. So at least if I start writing it all down, and I'm not quite sure where I'll write it down yet, if it'll be on a Google Doc or by hand. There's pros and cons. I don't know which one's going to work better for me.
Personally, I'll go Google Doc. Sorry, by hand. Yeah. And just maybe Julia, just whack in the time that you're gonna, is it waking up and journaling or just at night or that kind of thing as well. But thank you for sharing.
With a cup of tea in the middle of the day, in the morning.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we are just 3 minutes over time. So I just want to say, Jenna, Georgina, Helen, Coco, Julia, Adette. We had, who was there before? Lola, thank you so much. Yeah, I love these sessions. They're very fun. And I love working with Qualified Tutor and just bringing the vibe. You guys are so much fun. It's great to present with you. So Thank you all so much. I'm very grateful. I've put 2 links in the chat there. One's my Calendly link. If you want to just come and chat about coaching, got any questions, you can click there. My email is sam@studentbreakthrough.com. Like I said, we've got the course kicking off on Thursday. If Thursday's even too soon, it'll be recorded. It's an intro session. The next session's 2 weeks after that. And our next cohort will probably be in April. I guess the good one of this one is that you can finish in September, ready to go. But thank you all so much. It's been a pleasure to
We
meet you.
appreciate you, Sam. Thanks, Emil. Bye, Jenna. Bye, Georgina. Bye, Helen.
Thank you, team.